FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
You're listening to all new Nooga Radio and NoogaRadio.com here on 92.7 FM. Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. I'm Keon Rose filling in for Sam Jordan this time. And Sam will get back to you hopefully tomorrow. But I'm holding it down for today, and I'm going to be doing this hour, and then you'll get another hour of me during my show later on. We're starting off Sport Talk with Sam Jordan with a couple of guests here from the Chattanooga Eagles, our friends and our local football team. In the studio with us, if you guys could just say your names really quickly, going from whoever wants to go first.
Chris Deloney.
I'm Hayden Clark.
Head coach Hayden Clark. And Chris Deloney, what position do you play?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Just a couple of things with the Eagles, just to set up everything. You guys had a great season last season. You went all the way to the championship game. You won your division. Unfortunately, didn't get to win the championship game. But how was that season for you guys? And either one of you guys can answer.
I mean, it's been a great season, man. Honestly, especially to come from nothing, and to have the support system that we had, and it's just really been a blessing, man. Just to have the opportunity and to have the coaching staff that we have. And
we mostly had Nick here and Coach Hayden here. So we haven't had too many player perspective, but what's it like being a player in a team, its first year, and you guys are that successful out of the gate?
I mean, it's really just a brotherhood, honestly, because once you get a good group of athletes, let alone a good group of, young men, and we all start to see eye to eye and we listen to we listening to each other, then everything else pretty much fell in place and everything else took care of itself. Because once you got people that listen and we all come together in time of need and we all sitting our pride aside to do that one thing and one thing only, and that's to win.
When you what's the toughest part about being a wide receiver? Actually, because I have zero football experience. I tried out for football in high school, didn't even make the team, wasn't even close. It's a sad story. We don't have to go down the road, but what is it actually like being a wide receiver? You go over the middle of the field, someone's trying to crack you. What is that even like?
You just got to protect yourself, man, at all costs. You just got to protect yourself. And honestly, my opinion, the hardest thing to being a receiver is catching the ball. Believe it or not, because that itself requires a lot of hand-eye coordination. And a lot of people don't really have that.
It's crazy, right? A lot of people don't have it, but everybody's on the couch at home going, you should have caught that. How it doesn't, it seems obvious, but it's not at all obvious.
No, because every ball that's been thrown your way is not going to be perfect.
Right.
And you just got to make the best of whatever situation it is to catch that ball and bring it in.
Right. I hear you on that. Coach, when you, well, first off, what's it like coaching this guy, Chris Deloney? What is it like coaching him?
It's everything you need in a player. He comes to work, does what he's supposed to do, doesn't ask questions, even if he does think it's crazy at sometimes. He just goes and does what he's supposed to do. Puts up numbers, willing to go to bat with everybody else. He's everything you need in a receiver, everything you need in a player.
You're listening to all new Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com here on 92.7 FM. Sport Talk with Sam Jordan. Keon Rose filling in for Sam Jordan. And we have Chris Deloney and Hayden Clark of the Chattanooga Eagles joining us today. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting, because I really caught on near the end of last season and I watched a couple of those games, and you guys had some close games. What is the mentality when it comes to pulling out games like that?
Always got to stay composed. No matter what's going on around you, control what you can control. There's a few things, I've learned growing up from great coaches is it's two things you can't control. It's weather and referees. So
right.
You just got to do what you can do to, be as successful as possible.
When, especially, and I can't get in trouble with anybody. I don't work for anybody, but there was that I don't know if it was the first or second Huntsville game that you guys played them back to back, but there was one really questionable call, and you guys still found a way to win that football game. Chris, like what goes through your mind when you do see a bad call and you're trying to figure out, like, how do you bounce back from that?
You just got to bounce back from it. You know, that play is dead. The only thing you can do from that point is worry about the next play.
I mean, okay, that's fair. That does make sense. What have you learned? Like, what have you learned from this past season, Chris, and then Coach, if you'd like to answer, what have you learned from? Because like, there's a lot you can learn from adversity, but there's a lot you can learn from success too. And you guys have been successful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can learn. But I know me, on my behalf, I learned a lot this year. And this show, it taught me a lot about myself and my brothers, my family, which is, you know, the Eagles football team. And, you know, adversity gonna strike, but it's all about, like Coach was saying, you know, he also taught us, you know, you got to keep your composure. And whenever your time is calling, like, you got to answer. It's either you're gonna stand up and fight or you're gonna back down. But at the end of the day, nobody's gonna give you anything. So, you know, he was just big on, you know, listening, cooperating, you know, just do what we ask you guys, just do your part. Do your part as players, and they, you know, they'll do their part as coaches, and we left it at that. We believed in everything he taught us, and, you know, he currently teaching us to this day, and it all paid off.
What's next season going to look like for you guys? Do you know?
I think next season, you know, it's going to be the same tactics. You know, it's going to be going in, you know, playing the hot hand, playing who we think is going to give us the best opportunity to win, playing the guy that, you know, we see leadership in. Leadership is something we preach every day. We don't like to I think there's a lot of football teams, especially at this level, that only like to focus on the highs. You know, we like to focus on the lows, where adversity makes people.
Right.
Adversity reveals character. So it's just one of those type deals where we want to put people in the worst spot possible at practice, to where we want to see how they respond. We want to put our quarterback in a position where he's down 10 points, you know, with 10 minutes left, and see how he responds. Is he going to jump his teammates, or is he going to pick those guys up? Because at some point throughout the season, he's going to have to rely on somebody else. So, you know, that's where our big highlight is. That's what we like to see. Put people in tight situations and see how they respond.
And that makes a ton of sense. And I think a lot of people do try and practice all of those different scenarios. And, you know, you hear about a lot of like great teams, you know, every time that something happens with the Patriots, the one thing that I always hear is, oh yeah, no, we practice that.
Yep.
And it's like, how do you know to practice that? How on earth is it that you even thought about practicing it? And so, yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. And I think that is a good move, because great teams do that.
Yeah.
I even read a story that the Eagles were practicing having a long halftime break and then trying to come back and play football afterwards, because, I mean, we've seen it happen in the Super Bowl before. You have teams get that break and then they come back and
completely different team.
They're not fresh. They're not ready. And so just an awkward segue, but who do you guys have in the Super Bowl? Start with you, Coach.
I'm a big Tom Brady guy, so I'm going with the Patriots. I know that's probably not the highlight pick right now, because everybody wants the underdog to win. Everybody wants the Eagles to win. Everybody hates the Patriots. But I'm a big Tom Brady guy. I think he's the best probably to ever do it, especially at our time. So yeah. I'm going with the Patriots.
What about you, Chris?
I'm gonna have to go with the GOAT. Though my Falcons, you know, we at the house watching. It's cool. Maybe next year, but I'm gonna have to go with Brady with that one.
I'm gonna agree with you guys.
I think it's funny that whenever you hear this stuff, it's not the Patriots are gonna win; it's Tom Brady's gonna win.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing that, because I've always talked about this, because I think that a lot of, especially with the NFL, and I don't know exactly how it is that you guys are going to do it with the GDFL or anything like that, but I think that part of the NFL's problem is the star problem. It's hard to make stars, and I think the league likes it that way. I think the league likes not having stars. Definitely. But quarterbacks get to be stars really easily. So it's Brady does it, even though, I mean, that Patriots defense is fantastic. And, you know, I mean, Brandon Cooks has been a very good wide receiver for Brady this year. So, I mean, you just look at that team, that whole team is good. Do you guys, when you guys watch stuff like that, because you guys are more involved in football than your average fan, like when you watch stuff like that, does that just make you laugh, or like what's your reaction to? Because we always go with it's Tom Brady versus Nick Foles. They're not even on the field at the same time.
I think my favorite part of everything is, and this is at any level of sports right now, is social media. Getting on there and listening to some of those guys try and talk football. And I'm not going to discourage anybody that enjoys the football game, but being on the coaching side, I've coached literally since I was a year out of high school, so I've been on this side of things for a while. Just listening to some of those guys talk about some stuff, I'm like, yeah, man, whatever floats your boat, I guess, whatever works for you. So I think that's my favorite part of everything.
What about you, Chris?
Man. I mean, like Coach was saying, it's been part of my life, for quite some time. And honestly, what I get from out the game is nothing but emotion. And like he was saying, with social media and emotion, them two right there.
That's a bad combo.
Yeah. It's a horrible combination. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. This is their job. You know what I'm saying? And people end up like throwing them on social media and trashing them. This isn't just something they do for fun. Like they get paid. This is what they do every day. And then people just kind of throw it to the wolves and don't really appreciate it. But I mean, I guess it is what it is.
And that's like a toll on your body too, man. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like that's an extra, 15, 20 pounds.
Right.
That you on top of your body weight. So it's like you already got to move around with that. And it's just a lot. But,
and that's something that you can't know as a fan, especially a lot of us that have not ever really played the game. Like we just don't know. And everybody's got an opinion on something. Criticism is the easiest part of any industry. I understand that I'm fortunate to be able to do what I do. I am on the very tail end of someone else's hard work, but it would be the same if I were a music critic or something, someone spends a year making an album and they put it out and I'm like, it stinks. It just like it's someone's hard work and you don't necessarily understand all of the blood and the sweat and the tears that goes into that. And then you just kind of go out there and just say whatever. And I don't know if you guys have had that level of criticism yet, but you guys are, as you get to be successful, and I'm sure you know this already, but successful people tend to catch that more often than anybody else. Do you have a way that you would get through something like that?
Not really. I mean, like you said, everybody has an opinion. Everyone's entitled to whatever they want to say. I think the biggest thing from our side is put the distractions away. It all goes back from the circle that we said from day one. You got to control what you can control. And I think that's probably one of those things, I've never played at that level. Obviously, I've never coached at that level. But I think a lot of that goes into the exact same stuff they say. The critics are there. They're not where you are. So, you control what you can control and you just go from there. I think that was one of the cool things I actually saw after last year. After one of our first games last year, there was somebody that got on our social media page and gave us all grades. What? It was pretty cool, actually. I thought it was awesome. He was talking about the players, talking about always feed the hot hand, and our players, and gave the coaching staff, I think he gave us a B+ for the night. So I thought that was awesome. I thought it was really cool that actually somebody paid attention.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that if you go through the trouble of giving everybody grades, you have to care. That is not a passive person.
I mean, like I said, he gave the quarterback a grade, the running backs, even called him out on some of the numbers. He had nothing negative to say. So, it was easy for me to be like, oh, that's cool. But I mean, he gave everybody a grade, started talking about people. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would think criticism can be useful if you're not just ridiculous with it, which I think a lot of people are. But there's a place for it. I just think that as far as the whole process goes, it's definitely the easiest part of the process at the very end.
It's always easy to trash somebody. I mean, it is. It's not easy to give somebody credit for something that they do. So it's like Nick Foles. We all talk about Brady, but Nick Foles is probably one of the luckiest guys on the planet right now because nobody expects him to do it.
Yeah.
But if he does, everybody's going to talk about it. So he's in a really good spot to do a lot of good things Sunday night. So I'm really interested to see how he performs.
It's a great opportunity for him, for sure.
Very good opportunity.
You're listening to all new Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com here on 92.7 FM, Sport Talk with Sam Jordan. Keon Rose filling in for Sam Jordan. Chris, I heard that you have some greener pastures in your future, some a brighter horizon. How do I say this? You're going to be playing for the Nebraska Danger?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's that feel like?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Like, especially, you know, taking a break as long as I did, and, you know, being blessed with the opportunity with an amazing coaching staff and amazing teammates. It's just all a blessing, because you don't get these opportunities every day. And you got people that can't play football the rest of their lives, you know, and it's just a blessing.
How did this all happen for you? How did you wind up playing for the Eagles? How did you get this opportunity to play for the Danger? Do you want to share a little bit of that?
Well,
yeah, I'm interested to hear this one.
Should we take it back?
Go ahead, take it back all the way.
Get in the Wayback Machine.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta go way
You got
back.
4 minutes, so you better hurry up.
Okay, well, it all started with the tribe, and, you know, for those of you that know about the tribe football, we know that collapsed. That, you know, and Coach blessed us with another opportunity to play, and I still remember we was trying to come up with the colors, the team name, and it was just all chaos. But, you know, he pretty much gave us a blessing, and he gave us another opportunity to play ball again, and we took advantage of it. And coaches used to tell me, you know, just go out there and do what you can control. And when he called my number, I responded.
Hey, that's a great story. Just go back a little bit. You guys all decided on the team name and the colors and stuff together? Was that a democratic process?
It was.
You said it was chaos. What happened there?
They had some pull, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, not all, because you got some people that wanted like black and yellow, or you had somebody that wanted green and purple or something like that. It was hard coming to one, but like once we all came to one, we ain't gonna talk about the logo. We ain't gonna talk about that. It was just so much going on with that as well. But we all came to a conclusion, and that's Chattanooga Eagles came about.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that one stuck. It's got a nice ring to it, I think.
It does. It does.
I love it.
You're listening to all new Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com. Here on 92.7 FM, Sport Talk with Sam Jordan. Keon Rose filling in for Sam Jordan. Coach, the target is on your back next year.
Definitely.
What do you do? What do you do to? I mean, because it's coming, right? Yep. Like
everybody knows. Everybody knows us now.
You're not the unknown team from out of nowhere.
We're not the Philadelphia Eagles with a backup quarterback walking in the Super Bowl this year. We're the Tom Brady team this year. You know, I love it. I think it's fun because now we get to play both roles in 2 years. You know, whenever we come into town now, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, that's the defending champs." You know, you get to promote that. So when we travel this year, I expect it to be pretty good crowds. You know, everybody wants to come see the second place team or the team that won their division last year. Everybody wants to see that team. So I expect it to be a lot of fun for us. I expect it to draw some really good crowds. I expect all of Eagle Nation to come out and support us at our home games, and it'll be really loud, like those last couple games were last season. You know, I expect everybody's best. You know, at this level, you know, when we rolled out there last year, we might not have gotten everybody. Everybody that wanted to take a vacation might have done it on our week. This year, it's going to be 65 people looking at us from across the way, and we're going to have to battle them right up there, and hopefully everything goes our way.
And good luck to you, because I honestly think that you guys have what it takes. I watched high-scoring games. I watched low-scoring games, and you guys were able to grind out some wins. You guys were able to blow out some people. And, I mean, that's got to be a magical experience. And now is where the work starts, you know, and that's –
Yeah, now from here on out, it's going to be the hardest part of our job. From here on out, we're going to have to prepare week in and week out. We're going to have a game plan going in, and it's not going to be flying by the seat of our pants anymore. Like I said, everybody knows what we got coming, so they're going to be prepared for us. And if we don't prepare, that target's going to be, you know, even bigger. Obviously, everybody's going to want a shot at the champ. So it's
absolutely,
going to come.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you guys for joining us today. Chris Deloney, Hayden Clark from the Chattanooga Eagles. And just, Coach, one last question. Your first game of the year, your next game, when is it?
February 24th, we'll play our crosstown rival in the Dalton Danger. Should be a really fun one. Should be really fun.
It should be really fun. And what time is it and where?
7 p.m. At Central High School on February 24th. You can also follow our Facebook page for that. Just look up Chattanooga Eagles football, and it'll have all the information on there. So you can look at all that good stuff.
Okay, and we're gonna link the Chattanooga Eagles Facebook page on our page after this interview. I'll try and get this interview up on Facebook either tonight or tomorrow, so that people can see it and check you guys out. And Chris, good luck heading to the Danger tomorrow morning. Wish you guys the best of luck. Thanks for joining me today. This is Sport Talk with Sam Jordan on all new Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com on 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
4 children trapped inside a burning building as firefighters rushed to save them. It happened just before 2 a.m. this morning. All 4 were able to escape unharmed, but an uncle of the children was taken to the hospital with minor burns to his face and hands. Firefighters managed to rescue some of the household pets. Fire crews say the home is a total loss. The cause is still under investigation. Dalton police are trying to track down 18-year-old James Walton, who was shot in the face in a weed deal gone sour. Police say he was in the hospital recovering from his injury and was supposed to turn himself in. He failed to do so, and now the police are on the hunt. If you spot him, call 911, then call Nooga Radio at 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. The Sean Hannity Show is on every weekday from 3 to 6 on Nooga Radio. Val St. John, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 News Now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
$25 goes by quickly these days, and 25 cents still just a quarter. 25 is the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return. Quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates.
Hi, I'm Chip Chapman. The IRS set some special dates this year regarding filing your taxes. It all may make filing a little more confusing this year. The professionals at Schultz & Associates can answer your questions about multiple incomes, income from rental property, special circumstances involving your children or family. Call Schultz & Associates 899-1130 and arrange an appointment to work out the details of your tax return. Schultz & Associates, 6310 Bonnie Oaks Drive.
Baseball sluggers often wear the number 25, or 25 is a full MLB roster. Just happens 25 is also the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates, 899-1130.
Oh man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go that's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits? Oh, I got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh yeah, I'm going to find something for my lady too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson. An automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Your team has just been infected with a deadly virus. Your only hope? There, in an abandoned farmhouse. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee. Escape Experience Chattanooga. These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room, game, and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows mid and upper 20s. Now for your Wednesday, look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Light cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
You're listening to all new Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com, 92.7 FM. We have a news update. News Director Russell Stroud.
Hi, yeah. I just want to let everyone know that Jim Brewer II, he's a veteran of the radio industry. He died today at the age of 56. People know him from his many different radio stations and media adventures around Chattanooga. And Jim Brewer II, unfortunately, lost his battle with oral cancer today. He was 56 years old. His friends and coworkers have remembered him as a kind man who loved the radio business, his people, and the community. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him on one occasion, and very, very excellent person. Sad to hear that he passed away. So today's radio broadcast is dedicated to Jim Brewer II. We'll hear more about what's going to happen with his media empire tomorrow, possibly. But Jim Brewer II, 56 years old, died today of cancer.
Yeah, well, that's sobering news. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Brewer family. I actually did bump into Jim Brewer once at the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. It was quick, but he was nice. He was nice, and I've personally only heard good things about him. So I again, thoughts and prayers to the Brewer family. It's tough to lose a loved one in that way, and I know this, and I've experienced it, and it's something that you wouldn't wish on anybody, but you always hope that everyone can pull together and get through, and we'll let you know more about that loss and any other updates surrounding that as we get more information. But just wish our condolences to the Brewer family after the passing of Jim Brewer. You're listening to all new Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com here on 92.7 FM. Well, I'm trying to figure out where to go next after that. That one's a tough one, and it doesn't feel right to go to a happier place after that. But show's got to go on, I guess. I mean, this is a sports show after all. But I do have some good news out of UTC. How about that? Let's just change the subject. With UTC, the UTC Mocs defeat Western Carolina. Jim Foster finally gets his 900th win. It's been eluding him for about a week now. I think he had an opportunity on Saturday for win number 900. And I don't know if that was a close game. It was a game against Mercer. I don't know if the game was close or not, but the women's team gets Coach Foster his 900th win over the Western Carolina Catamounts today. And the game wasn't even close, which I suppose you could have expected because of the level of dominance that the Lady Mocs have had over the Catamounts. I mean, the record for UTC and Western Carolina, the women's teams, is 74-11. I mean, that's domination. That's something more than domination. 74-11. I think they beat them on the road, and they're 26-9 against them on the road. Like that's domination of about the highest order. So you could have expected it, but obviously this could be one of those games that they could have come in, they could have overlooked, they could have started slow. They didn't. They came in, they handled their business, and Coach Foster is the winner of 900 games, which would be, it's a record, by the way. It's one of those things that I think only 4 other coaches have done it across all divisions. 900 wins is absolutely impressive. Sorry, he's the 8th coach. He's the 8th coach among all divisions to reach 900 wins, and he is 7th among Division I coaches, 5th among active coaches. So that's a lot of winning. And the women's team for the Mocs, by the way, has been playing really good basketball throughout the season, right? Which is good, because I think when you have the men's team and the women's team, I think you'd prefer to have them both be good at the same time. But the men's team, and they've had a lot of changes over the past couple of seasons, and they're trying to figure this thing out and get it together, which they are, by the way. I know they lost a string of games. I think it was about 9 or 10 in a row, but those were all close losses. It wasn't one of those things where they were getting blown out every game. It was 1 or 2 points deciding each game. And the team's young. There's a number of freshmen on the team. That this team was always destined for a rocky road. And I think if you're going to have it be rough in that way, for the women's team to be good while the men's team is struggling, because the worst case scenario, obviously, is that they're both bad. And that's not helpful for anybody. It's not watchable. So you've got something for UTC fans to be happy about and to root for. And that's especially over the course of a basketball season. And we're starting to actually get around to some of these spring sports. Softball is starting up next week, actually. Next week from Friday will be the beginning of the UTC Mocs softball season. The Mocs, by the way, didn't have a great softball season last year. It was tough for them. But part of it is that they had a lot of injuries early in the year, especially in their pitching rotation, which is tough to overcome if you're going to have those injuries early. You really can't have a pitching rotation injuries. I believe the phrase that was used to describe the Mocs pitching rotation last year was that they had 1.5 pitchers. I mean, that's not good. That's a terrible spot to be in if you're them. And I can't help but think that getting back all of those players from injury, plus I believe there were a couple of transfers in to be able to give them some depth. At that point, Heidi Hall transferring from Oregon State to give them some depth pitching. Because I don't believe that the Mocs had trouble scoring runs last year, right? I have to go and refresh my memory on some of the scores of those games, but it didn't seem like scoring was the problem. It honestly didn't. What it felt like was the problem was that the team couldn't pitch, and the team couldn't pitch because they were injured. And UTC has a great softball team. It's a great softball program, and it's one of those things that has been enduringly good, at least the time that I've been in Chattanooga, and I've been in Chattanooga for 9 years now, and that team has been enduringly good regardless of everything else this entire time. So I am of the belief that this is something that's going to be solid coming up this season. So we've gotten good seasons out of the women's basketball team. I think we're going to get a good season out of the softball team. And we're looking at some of these other UTC programs to turn themselves around. I think that you got to give the Mocs men's team basketball-wise some time, with head coach Paris Lamont, this being his first year coaching the team. You just have to give them the time to grow. And you also have to give that football team under Tom Arth the time to grow too. I mean, he's done, I think, a fantastic job coming in here with what he's had and not being the person that has recruited a number of these players, being able to sort of now get a number of your players in and then a number of local Chattanooga talent, but that fit your scheme and fit your style. I think that's going to be really good for this program. And so I think the state, right? Because, yesterday, not yesterday, 2 days ago, the president gave his State of the Union address. I would say the state of Chattanooga sports address is that it's looking up, right? You've got some teams that are already good, and then you've got teams that have a lot to look forward to, and that's just with the Mocs, right? Really nice of the Chattanooga Eagles to come in and hang out with us here for a half hour, which they do from time to time. It's my favorite interview that I have done. I've had a number of good interviews, a number of really fun interviews, but the Chattanooga Eagles are always fun. They're always nice. They're always gracious. And that's something to me that I can't help but want to root for them and want to root for their success. They have been absolutely phenomenal every time they've come in. And we get to talk about everything football, right? Like, well, we talk about them and what they're up to just to get you guys involved and to let you know where to look for them. But we also look for just football talk. Like, if you're just a fan of football, I don't know how it is that you don't tune into that when it happens. We're going to try and make that a weekly thing. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes, because it's been fun so far. Absolutely. You're listening to all new Nooga Radio and NoogaRadio.com here on 92.7 FM. Sport Talk with Sam Jordan. Keon Rose filling in for Sam Jordan. And I saw a story today that blew my head open. It actually blew my head open. I had to bend over and put it all back together and put it back on my shoulders, because what I read didn't make any sense, which is there is a story. There's a wonderful story reported by ESPN's Chris Haynes, and it's one of the many stories that involve the NBA somehow hijacking Super Bowl week. It's one of the many stories. And that story is LeBron James could be a Golden State Warrior. And I don't know how I feel. Actually, I do know how I feel about that. No is how I feel about that. I actually do not want that to ever happen. That's not fun or interesting, right? And I root for fun and interesting. There's a reason why I rooted for Kevin Durant as a Warrior, right? Because I actually thought that the Warriors, despite the fact that they were good enough to go to the NBA Finals, I thought that the Warriors were missing a punch, right? I thought that they caught the league off guard with their three-point shooting back in 2015, and I don't think that the league's been as susceptible to it. And once that team got permission to shoot as many threes as they did, I think other teams started taking the license to do it too, and started constructing themselves in that same way. We saw the Spurs do it. We saw the Rockets do it. I mean, the number of threes that the Rockets take is otherworldly at this point. We've seen a number of teams, once given the permission to take a ridiculous amount of threes, once they've gotten the permission to do that, they've taken it upon themselves to just roll with it. Like, why not? And I don't think that the Warriors necessarily were going to dominate the league a second year. Like, they were still going to be good, still finals contenders, could still have won the finals without Kevin Durant. But you add Kevin Durant, and what you do is you give that team a punch that they did not have before, because the ability to go to the basket when they absolutely have to have it, they didn't have that previously, right? Like, Steph is actually a really great scorer around the basket, but I think that that's a team that had a tendency to fall in love with its own three-point shooting very often, and it could have been their undoing, and we never got to see what that would have looked like, because Kevin Durant joined the team and gave them the ability to go to the rack anytime they needed to get points. And that, to me, it felt fair. It felt fair in as much as him going to Golden State didn't make the West. It didn't change the dynamics of the league, to me, right? Like, the Warriors were going to be tough with or without him. And there's only one basketball, so adding him doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to infinitely score more points. There's only but so many more points you can actually add with that guy, because the game is restricted by time and everybody can't score at once, right? So, like, there's only but so much you can actually add with that. I didn't have a problem with Durant going to the Warriors. If LeBron were to go, no. I root for interesting. There's nothing interesting about this. Nothing. Now, from what I understand, this is not something that LeBron has talked about. This is not something that LeBron has said. This is not anything of that sort, right? This is all the Warriors putting out the feelers, trying to figure out if they can even make it happen. They can even realistically predict for that to happen, right? Now, what they're trying to do is to tempt the Cleveland Cavaliers into making a deal and trying to see if it would happen. If you're Cleveland, you'd have to be nuts to trade LeBron James. And I don't care how bad that team looks. Any team that's bad that has LeBron on it is a worse team without him. Right? Like, you can talk about how bad they look, and Cleveland does look bad. Okay, I'm not sugarcoating that. They look awful. They look like an unwatchable basketball team because they are, in fact, an unwatchable basketball team. Yes. So I don't have any problems doubting them. But you can't act like you make your team better losing LeBron James. And we've already seen this before. I don't know why it is that they need a history lesson in living that out again. Right? I think this is wishful thinking on the part of Joe Lacob and the Warriors. And it's the best kind of wishful thinking. Like, if you're going to wish for something, wish for a lot, right? Like, if you were going to wish for, if I told you right now, I'll give you any amount of money you wish for, you're not going to wish for $1,000, right? Like, you're going to wish for the highest number that pops into your head. Obviously. So if you're the Warriors and you've done what you had to do to get Kevin Durant, you wooed him over to your team, you've built this team through the draft, and now you're the kind of team that feels like you're good enough that you can just get all the superstars, you might as well reach for all the superstars while you're dreaming of it. My thing is, you are just dreaming. Like, you are just dreaming. This is absolutely preposterous. However, if LeBron James were to entertain the idea of going to the Golden State Warriors, no, because that is so unfun. It's not even like, you'd have to think about changing some rules for the NBA, considering free agency and considering trades and things of that nature, man. Because you can't have it so that the best player in the league, the second best player in the league, and the third best player in the league are all on one team. One guy you drafted, one guy you signed, and one guy you traded for. Something feels wrong about that entire situation. That scenario does not work for me as a fan at all. Right? Like, it just doesn't. And still, you could talk about it. You could talk about the NBA and how it's dead, right? Like, if LeBron James goes to Golden State, it's dead. But I would actually want to watch and see what that Frankenstein's monster of a basketball team would look like. I'm interested. Also, I'm interested in what it would be like for a team like the Warriors, where the camaraderie is very high and everybody works together very well, even though you've got some contentious personalities on that team, right? Like, Draymond is not an easy person to play with. I can't even imagine. But can anybody deal with the passive-aggressive LeBron Instagram post in the middle of the night? Is anybody prepared for that? Because I don't think anybody is prepared for that. I don't. What training would you receive to cause you to be prepared for LeBron James being weird on social media, taking shots at his teammates? What could prepare you for LeBron James yelling at you for missing a defensive assignment when he also wasn't playing defense? Because I've seen this, right? LeBron James would be not playing defense. Someone else would miss a defensive assignment, and LeBron James would rip their still beating heart out of their chest. What can prepare you for this? I don't think there's anything on this earth that can prepare you for whatever it is that is, right? Like, especially if you're a team like the Warriors, where the camaraderie is good and it's high and everybody gets along. You throw that into the mix if that team struggles for even half a second. For even half a second. Right? Like, that's what it is. So I disagree with the entire notion that is happening. And speaking of things that I disagree with the entire notion of it happening, there was a video that Floyd Mayweather posted on Instagram. Yes, I know this is how boxing rumors start, but this is not a boxing rumor. Floyd Mayweather took a video of himself in a MMA octagon. And I looked at that and I said, no. First off, Floyd Mayweather is 40. Something. Right? Like, he's past 40. There's no way that I want to watch Floyd Mayweather try a new sport at 40. Like, he can try He can try boxing again at 40. I would watch Floyd Mayweather box some more. Like, it didn't look great against Conor, by the way. It didn't look great. But I've seen Floyd box before. Floyd is a defensive genius, and he's impossible to touch and all of these other things. So, yeah, I would watch Floyd Mayweather box again. Floyd Mayweather starting a brand new sport at the age of over 40. I have absolutely zero interest in paying attention to that mess. We all know that it's not happening and that Floyd is just teasing us. And the reason why Floyd is teasing us is because Floyd likes money. And the only way you can make money is if people still remember that you exist. So Floyd Mayweather is doing things to make us remember that he still exists. No, Floyd will not be fighting in mixed martial arts. I doubt Floyd will be fighting again. Because there were points in that fight where Conor made him look bad. And if you are the GOAT, allegedly, you can't be made to look bad by a guy that does not box. You're listening to Sport Talk with Sam Jordan. Keon Rose filling in for Sam Jordan. Clutch with Keon Rose coming up next.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Chickamauga hit-and-run suspect was arrested. The Walker County Sheriff's Office confirms that Mitchell Taylor Horton was arrested after the police say he drove into and killed a Chickamauga man on Tuesday. That 58-year-old Horace Cribbs died in his front yard when a car slammed through 2 fences and a driveway. Marion County schools are closed because of the flu outbreak, which is spreading like wildfire. The CDC says that Tennessee is experiencing widespread flu activity. Erlanger has seen record numbers of flu patients. Suspect arrested in a traffic stop in Red Bank. He was wanted in Hickson. The police say that Mr. Jordan Landon Roberts was arrested early Wednesday evening on the 100 block of Poole Street. Chattanooga police wanted him for the burglary of a home on Summerwood Trail in Hickson. He had been on the run for about a week. His accomplice already behind bars. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 now.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity, 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News, NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at NoogaRadio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
At Christian Brothers, $34.95 will get you an oil change and a free car wash. That's Christian Brothers Automotive in Hickson. Is your car broken down or about to be? Well, who do you trust? Don't go any farther than Christian Brothers Automotive in Hickson. It's all about trust. It's all about relationship. At Christian Brothers Automotive, no more waiting around. Take advantage of the free shuttle service from Christian Brothers Automotive with only quality auto parts, no cutting corners at Christian Brothers Automotive in Hickson. And remember, an oil change is only $34.95 and you get a free car wash.
So you forgot something that sparkles, a little bit of bling for Christmas? Valentine's is just ahead, so now's your chance to get it right. And Goss Company Jewelers has got you covered. Diamond stud earrings, rings, hoops, necklaces. Go now while you're thinking about it. Let Charlie Goss wait on you. He'll take care of you. Problem solved. Custom diamond studs start at under $200. That's 30% off. Goss Company Jewelers behind Chili's on Gun Barrel. That's it. Goss Company Jewelers.
Pulse Centers of Chattanooga offers non-medical solutions to your body's problems using a state-of-the-art technology called pulsed electromagnetic fields, PEMF for short. We help fuel the body's natural healing response. If you're tired of taking harmful, addictive drugs that only dull your pain and cause awful side effects, the knowledgeable, friendly staff at Pulse Centers can help you end that cycle.
Call to schedule a free whole body assessment at 423-771-77.